A fan-favorite Mortal Kombat character was just revealed, and on top of that, there's brand new story details to discuss as well. And finally, for the cherry on top, here is Smoke without his mask. That's a handsome-looking fella. I think now we know why Ermac looks so ugly, because all the handsome went to Smoke. A new day means more awesome Mortal Kombat 1 news, so if you want to stay up to date on Mortal Kombat information, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell down below, that way you never miss any future videos. I'm covering Mortal Kombat 1 content on this channel all the time, pretty much daily at this point. And that's why it's in your best interest to subscribe. And also, after watching the video, if you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. It really does help the channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's get right into it, starting off with the new story mode details. First up, let's look at Baraka. For me personally, Baraka stole the show, okay? This guy's attacks and moves have never looked cooler. I've never been a Baraka main in any Mortal Kombat games, but I may start for Mortal Kombat 1 because that's how hype he looks. Alright, here we go. Defender of the Tarkatans. Baraka was once a respected outworld merchant, but that life ended in an instant when he contracted the dreaded Tarkat plague. Incurable, contagious, and the cause of severe physical deformities, Tarkat turned Baraka into a monster. He was cast out and doomed to live out his days in a colony of similarly afflicted outworlders. Okay, so Tarkatans are pretty much lepers in this game, it looks like. You get sick and you're kicked out of society, and at that point the only way you can survive is to team up with other people that have the same disease. When Baraka first arrived, the colony was in disarray. His fellow Tarkatans had given up and were ready to die. Their hopelessness lit a fire in Baraka's heart. He spares no effort to better his fellow Tarkatans' lives. He knows that as long as he fights, he will never truly be a victim. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. Baraka is looking cooler and cooler in this game. You're telling me he's a hero of the people. This actually helps explain why Baraka is such a good fighter, because he's constantly defending his own people. But that said, this is Outworld, so maybe being a merchant also requires you to be really good at self-defense because you're constantly fighting off monsters. But regardless, I love how Baraka is still a leader, because that was the coolest thing about him in Mortal Kombat 11. He wasn't just some random Tarkatan, he was like the leader of the warrior pack. And in this game, it's a similar case. He's the leader of his people and also a really strong fighter, and his motivation is really inspirational. Alright, next up we have Li Mei, first constable of the Sun Do. As her parents' firstborn daughter, Li Mei was claimed by the Umgadi, the warrior priestesses who guard Outworld's royal family. Li Mei's service began with high expectations. Her early success caught the eye of the royal family, but it all fell apart when a terrible tragedy unfolded. Li Mei was blamed for this, and in the aftermath, she did the unthinkable. She quit the Umgadi. Okay, so already we have to stop, because this is more complicated than the trailer led on. In the trailer, they said for sure that Li Mei was to blame, but here it sounds like she may have been framed or the blame was simply put on her. And then on top of that, she was not kicked out. She actually chose to quit, either because she felt so ashamed or because she was just tired of being blamed for something that she did not do. And both of those details are super important and make her backstory already way more interesting, but let's keep reading. Friendless and alone, Li Mei needed a new purpose. She joined Sun Do's constables, the Outworld capital's rough and tumble police force. Over time, she became their first constable. Okay, so that must mean the top rank and not literally the first, because otherwise that makes no sense. Li Mei is glad to be the capital guardian. Still, she hopes one day to redeem herself. Okay, so is she guilty or is she not guilty? No matter what, her name has to be cleansed, right? Even if she wasn't responsible for the tragedy, everybody thinks she is, which means she still has to redeem herself in one way or another. Interesting stuff. Like I said in a previous video, this backstory is already way more interesting than what Li Mei had in the previous games. I'm pretty sure in the 3D era, she was just a sole survivor of a clan, and that's it. Alright, and next up we have Tanya, and here's where things get a little bit spicy, and you'll see what I mean. Guardian of Outworld's royal family. Chosen as an infant from Outworld's firstborn daughters, Tanya was raised by the Umgadi priestesses. She's never known her birth family. Well, that's kind of sad and depressing. As she grew older and saw other initiates wash out, Tanya feared that she would share their fate. But that fear spurred success. After many attempts, Tanya passed her trials and became a full Umgadi. Over time, Tanya became one of the Order's most trusted members. She was the obvious choice when it needed to choose a new leader for the royal family's personal guard. As an Umgadi, Tanya is sworn to piety and chastity. That is why her bond with Princess Melina, were it known, would cause a scandal. By following her heart, Tanya risks not only her position, but also her life. Okay, so Tanya in this game is the polar opposite of previous games. For anyone not aware, Tanya was always the biggest backstabber, okay? Befriend her at your peril. She is going to betray you at some point, it's a matter of fact. She betrayed Liu Kang, she betrayed Onaga, she betrayed Rain, she betrayed Melina. Yeah, she backstabbed everybody in past games. So Mortal Kombat 1 is completely different. She is the polar polar opposite. And what I find the most interesting is this last paragraph, because it implies that Tanya has already done the deed with Melina. Or in other words, Tanya and Melina did the sideways tango. That's what it sounds like in this last paragraph. They're not just in love, they've already broken her vow. I know for a lot of my viewers that English is not your first language, so just so you know, chastity means you're not allowed to sleep with anybody. Okay, you pretty much have to stay a virgin, or at the very least never have sex from that point on. So in order for Tanya's relationship with Melina to be a scandal, they would have had to do something that breaks that vow of chastity or piety. I think I said piety earlier. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's piety, which is honestly not the same thing. A piety is being religiously devoted, so someone who prays all day to God and lives by God's message and is pretty much holy their entire life. They live by God's teaching and don't stray from that. That's what being pious is. So oddly enough, it looks like Tanya's situation is very similar to Liu Kang's in the past Mortal Kombat games, because I'm pretty sure Shaolin monks are also supposed to be sworn to chastity. But here's where things get extra spicy, okay? If you recall the very first gameplay trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, look what Kenshi is doing to Melina. He's caressing her head kinda fondly, isn't he? I don't know, I'm just saying maybe Kenshi is attracted to Melina, and if she returns those feelings, it could be a very awkward love triangle. I love drama in my romances, okay? And storytelling, I love when there's weird romantic drama, so I'm all here for this. Or maybe I'm looking too much into it. So next up, let's talk about the final topic, the tease at the end of Comic-Con. If you've been on social media like Twitter, then you've likely already seen this, but there's an extended version of the Lin Kuei trailer. And essentially, the trailer ends with Smoke trying to scout the area because he has a higher vantage point than Scorpion or Sub-Zero, but while he's looking around, he hears something, looks up, and there's a screaming thing flying at him from the sky. So yeah, that could definitely tease a certain character. And if you played the older games, then you know exactly who I'm talking about, my girl Nitara. That's right, this Mortal Kombat tease very likely just confirmed Nitara for Mortal Kombat 1, and I could not be more excited. Because come on, think about it, what other character flies and is known for screaming as they attack their opponents from the sky? That's Nitara. I've seen some people say it could be Sindel, but why would Sindel be scouting the perimeter of the castle? It doesn't make any sense. And plus, they're not even in Outworld when this scene happens, so why would Sindel be there at all? Once again, it has to be Nitara or a brand new character, but Ed Boon has said in interviews that this game likely won't have any new characters, which once again is just more proof that Nitara is returning, which has me very excited, but at the same time, I'm a bit hesitant because I'm not a huge fan of some of the redesigns in this game so far. I think Tanya's new look is fine, but the issue is it's so different from how she looked before, so it's kinda hard to even tell it's Tanya. And don't even get me started on Ermac's new look, alright? Because when this game comes out, we're all going to be rocking the alternate costume for sure. For me personally, the worst case scenario for Nitara would be that she's a generic monster character now, kinda like Devora, right? She's just gross, she's creepy looking, she's a gross vampire. That would be terrible for me, and I would hate that. I would still play her if the gameplay was cool, because I'm gonna stand by my girl no matter what. I've wanted her back for like 20 years at this point. But at the same time, I hope NetherRealm allows her to keep a little bit of that sex appeal, because that's also what she was known for in the 3D era games. She was rocking the spiked bikini, she wasn't wearing any pants, and just look at this pose. You can't tell me that's not a pinup pose, okay? So this character is a vampire lady, sure, but she's also known for being sexy. So I guess what I'm saying is I just hope she's pretty. But now's the part where I make this video interactive. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you excited for Nitara? And how do you feel about all these new story changes? Do they have you hyped? I really do read every comment, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And then while you're down there, keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.